Cybersecurity is ultimately a people problem. It's interesting. I hear numbers kind of all over the place, anywhere from mid to high 80s all the way up to 99% of breaches ultimately are the problem of people. And it's crazy because in the marketplace right now, there's so much noise about this tool and this tool and this tool and this whiz bang solution and this whiz bang thing. And that's great. Those are wonderful things to automate and shut things down automatically. A lot of them are using AI, which is fantastic. However, ultimately, it comes down to people. And so what does that mean? That means help people be successful. So I'm a huge proponent of people. Ultimately, business is about people, right? We want to work with people we like, we want to interact with people we like, we want to do business with people we like. Ultimately, it's all about people, right? Well, cybersecurity is no different. Breaches, people are going to be your weakest link. Everybody knows phishing, right? Who clicks the phishing link? People. If you have to do patching and somebody needs to update their computer, their laptop, and they, especially if they're remote and they fail to do that and there's not some sort of automated tool, what's the bit breakdown? People. If there's a particular process or a procedure that needs to be followed and somebody gets lazy and like, it'll be fine. People. And so people are ultimately your problem with cybersecurity. And so education is huge. You want to educate, 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 educate. And cybersecurity awareness training is not just a check the box exercise. None of this stuff is a check the box exercise. This is all about keeping your company safe. End of discussion. And keeping your company safe is not a check the box exercise, nor will a check the box exercise ever work to keep your company safe. They just don't go together. So if your goal is to keep your company safe, then cybersecurity awareness is not a check the box exercise. Cybersecurity awareness training, the reason why it's required in pretty much every framework by cybersecurity insurance is standard practice in the world, there's a simple reason. People are your weakest link. Sometimes they do it on purpose because they're mad and mean. And a lot of times they do it just because they don't know. And so you don't know what you don't know, right? And so what you don't want to do is have your people put your company into a position because of their ignorance. They just did not know. And so that's the intent of cybersecurity awareness training. However, it's an at least annual exercise. One time a year. Does that keep people trained? Does that keep people educated one time a year to go find the cheapest, quickest, whatever solution I can throw at people and make them do? Does that do the job? Oftentimes not. It doesn't keep it top of mind. So cybersecurity awareness training is a culture. You want to create a culture of cybersecurity around your company. You want people to have this thing top of mind. Breach, phishing, bad, constantly out there, not to live in fear, but to be vigilant, ever vigilant that yes, this thing is top of mind. I'm going to do my part and I understand what my part is in this whole bigger thing. And that's why it's so important. And so you really want to work to create a culture of cybersecurity awareness. So some companies will do posters around, they'll send out monthly newsletters. Some companies, as part of like their quarterly employee all hands meeting or department meeting, they'll do kind of a fun game for cybersecurity. Now you're seeing more of the phishing links coming out and testing people if they click it, and then if they click it they have to take a little mini training. And so you're seeing a lot of that kind of stuff happen, which is good. It's trying to make this thing be top of mind and create this culture. But the minute we turn it into a check the box exercise, we lose the value of what it's trying to do. We really want to go out of our way to help equip people to be successful, understanding that they are our weakest link. They are the biggest problem, all of us, because we're human, right? That's the way it goes. And so we want to help them to be successful. Another way to help people be successful is don't leave an open door or a big block in the road that they can trip over. Don't do that to them because they're probably going to trip over it. And so help them be successful. Go out of the way to make sure their computer is updated. Don't rely upon them to do it. All of those types of things. Make sure you give them mechanisms to destroy PHI or PII or confidential data or people's identities. Some of the call centers that require, like, people need to write the credit card number down, for example, which is a big no-no. They'll still be in a secure area for PCI compliance, but they'll give them little whiteboards. And so, okay, you can write the credit card number down on the whiteboard so that you can type it in, and then the minute you're done, you wipe the whiteboard. That way it's not there. But if you don't give people that, guess what they do? They find a little piece of paper to jot it down on, and when nobody's looking, that's what they do, because I can't remember this thing, and so that's what they do. Or worse yet, they'll pull up their phone and take a picture of it. Really bad idea. Great, now it's in the world, you can't get that back. That's terrible. Or they'll start typing it on their computer, and then you'll find out their computer has all these credit card numbers in it, only because, not because they were trying to do it, but because we didn't give them a mechanism to be successful. Passwords the same way. We give people this ridiculous complex password requirements. Make this 4,000 linked password, and you got to use all these symbols and blah blah blah, and you can't repeat, and they're like, oh, I can't do this, and we don't give them a way to be successful. But if you help them understand that there are secure ways to store your password, like a password keeper, and a lot of companies are actually starting to implement those tools within the organization. Store your passwords here. This will actually create a password for you that's secure. You don't have to type it in. Like, there's a lot of ways to make it easier for people to not fail because they didn't know, or they didn't have a mechanism to do it. Because again, cybersecurity is ultimately a people problem. So we have to help people succeed. Policy, here's another one I see. I'll see 85-page policy documents. Who reads an 85-page policy document? Probably not even the person who wrote it. I mean, come on, nobody reads that stuff, right? And so are you helping people be successful if you give them an 85-page policy document and then ask them to click the button to acknowledge? What is every last person going to do? Yeah, sure, click, whatever. They didn't read it. So the risk that it was intended to mitigate, totally lost, and it turned into a check the box exercise because we didn't help them be successful. So I always tell companies, when it comes to your security awareness policy that everybody has to acknowledge, make it easy to read. Make it plain English, help people to understand, make it fun. A lot of companies are going to this gamification, and a lot of these security awareness training tools are going to cartoons and little videos and gamification ideas where you can earn coins and bonuses. Some companies are even doing where you get Amazon gift cards, all these different things to try to make this culture of cybersecurity, because that's how you create security, is ultimately bringing people into the fold, going the extra mile to help them understand their responsibility, to help them know what they need to know, how they need to do it, why it's important that they can't bypass this. Put in compensating controls that if they do bypass it, there's some sort of monitoring or alerting or some sort of measurement that goes in. Like, build out the whole picture. That way you can trust but verify. Yes, it's there. Yes, I've told you what you need to do. Yes, I'm monitoring to make sure you do it. I'm helping you be successful. I'm not asking you for an impossible task and then not giving you any way to manage it. That's not helping them be successful either. Like, don't do that. And then what you can automate, and what you can throw some AI at, like patching, for example. I should never have to worry about hitting the button to update my Chrome on my computer. Like, come on, they should just do that for me. Like, just do it, figure it out, and don't rely upon me. I'm going to be your weakest link, right? And so don't do that. And so it's building out to help them be successful and automate where we can, and put in tools and use some of the whiz bang that's coming out in the world where we can, where it makes sense to help people be successful. But ultimately, cybersecurity is a people problem. Cybersecurity is nothing more than risk mitigation. That's all it is. It is risk mitigation with a very technical focus. Cybersecurity, technology, controls, all that good stuff, right? But people are your biggest risk. If you do a risk assessment, people are going to pop out as your biggest risk. And so because of that, you want to make sure you build a program that considers the risk of people, what they don't know, to help them know what they need to know, responsibilities to help so they know that and hold them accountable. But then also for nefarious activities as well. You get insider threats. It's a huge source of breach is insider threats. That's people who are mad at the world, they're mad at you, they're mad at, whatever. Or they're getting paid paid to provide their passwords. I just saw that's what that UK group is doing, is actually paying people for their login credentials, which is why MFA is so important. Well, they're paying them for that too. But anyway, the insider threats is huge. And this is where you get your access controls. This is where you get a lot of your other technical controls to help. Even if somebody is being nefarious, they're hitting that phishing link on purpose, they're giving away their credentials. What are other compensating controls that you put in place to help either alert to that or to just outright stop it if you can? That's really the thought process around cybersecurity, mitigating that risk and understanding that people are absolutely the biggest risk, on purpose and not on purpose. And so you got to mitigate the control both ways. If you found this video helpful, I would love if you would go to the channel and hit subscribe so that you can see future videos that we publish daily.